The strange signals came from beyond Pluto. At first, the space agency thought it was just noise. But after 3 days, the pattern was clear. Someone was reaching out. Commander Jack Hudson stared at the data scrolling across his screen. After 15 years at mission control, he'd seen plenty of false alarms. This wasn't one of them. "Dr. Grant, what do you make of this?" he asked, pushing his coffee away. Olivia Grant leaned forward, her eyes narrowing as she studied the readings. "It's structured, Jack. Too regular to be natural. Someone built this." Within hours, the president had been briefed. Within days, a response team formed with Hudson and Grant leading the scientific front. The world watched and waited as humanity crafted its first message to the stars. The reply came faster than anyone expected. Only 2 weeks later, the signal returned, stronger and clearer. The computers worked day and night to decode it. When they finally succeeded, the message was simple: "We come in peace." Preparations began immediately. The United Nations established first contact protocols. Military forces went on quiet alert. Scientists worked around the clock to improve communication. 3 months later, they arrived. The ship appeared suddenly, just beyond the moon's orbit. It was massive, nearly a mile long, with a sleek silver hull that reflected sunlight like a mirror. "My God," Hudson whispered as the first images came through. "They're really here." The aliens called themselves the Concordium, a federation of 23 species spanning hundreds of worlds. They transmitted images showing beautiful cities, advanced technology, and peaceful cooperation. Earth celebrated. Humanity wasn't alone anymore. The Concordium representatives landed in a field outside Geneva. They looked almost human, tall, thin beings with pale blue skin and large eyes. They spoke through translators, offering friendship and knowledge. For 2 weeks, everything seemed perfect. The aliens shared medical advances that cured 3 previously terminal diseases. They showed engine designs that could revolutionize space travel. World leaders posed for photos with the visitors. Then everything changed. "Earth has been evaluated," the Concordium ambassador announced during a United Nations session. "You will now join our federation as a protectorate species." The terms weren't a request. The Concordium demanded control of Earth's resources, military, and government. Compliance was mandatory. Resistance would be met with force. "This isn't a partnership," Hudson said during the Emergency Security Council meeting. "It's a conquest." When Earth refused their terms, the Concordium showed their true nature. 6 more ships appeared in orbit. They demanded surrender within 24 hours or face pacification. The world's militaries mobilized, but hope seemed slim against such advanced technology. How could Earth possibly fight beings who could cross the stars? The answer came from an unexpected source. Dr. Grant had been secretly analyzing the alien communications and found a critical weakness. Their shields operated on predictable energy frequencies. "If we modulate our weapons to this exact pattern," she explained to military leaders, "we might be able to penetrate their defenses." When the Concordium began their attack, targeting military bases across the globe, they expected easy victory. Instead, Earth was ready. Fighter jets launched carrying Grant's modified missiles. Space-based defense platforms fired at the exact frequencies she had identified. To everyone's shock, it worked. The alien shields flickered and failed under the assault. 3 Concordium ships fell from the sky before the others retreated beyond the moon. "They didn't expect us to fight back," Hudson said as they watched the alien vessels withdraw. "And they certainly didn't expect us to win." The victory was temporary. Everyone knew the Concordium would return with greater numbers, but humanity had done the impossible, stood against the stars, and survived. As the world governments gathered to plan Earth's defense, a final message arrived from the retreating alien fleet. "You have made a grave mistake." Hudson looked at Grant across the war room table and smiled grimly. "No," he said, though the aliens couldn't hear him. "You made the mistake. You underestimated us. The Concordium's initial defeat shocked the galaxy. No other species had ever resisted them successfully. Earth had 3 months before they would return. 3 months to prepare for a war unlike any humanity had fought before. The United Nations dissolved into something new, the Earth Defense Alliance. Old enemies became allies against a common threat. For the first time in history, all major powers shared military resources and technology without reservation. Admiral Natalie Wright, formerly of the U.S. Navy, took command of Earth's unified defense forces. She had a reputation for unconventional tactics and a mind that could see patterns others missed. They'll come back expecting to fight the same battle, she told the Emergency Council. We need to change everything before they return. Scientists worked day and night studying the downed Concordium ships. What they found changed everything. The alien technology wasn't magic. It was just more advanced, and it could be understood. Alan Porter, a physicist from Australia, made the first breakthrough. He discovered how the alien ships manipulated gravity itself. His team worked frantically to reverse engineer the technology. We can't match their production capabilities, Porter explained, but we can adapt their principles to our existing weapons. Maya Collins led the team that cracked the alien shield technology. A brilliant engineer with a background in quantum mechanics, she found that the shields operated on principles similar to Earth's experimental quantum field research. Their advantage isn't technical superiority, she reported. It's just that they've been doing it longer. We can catch up faster than they expect. While scientists worked, Admiral Wright implemented her strategy. Earth wouldn't wait for the aliens to attack again. Humanity would change the battlefield entirely. Construction began on Olympus Base, humanity's first major lunar installation. Built partly underground and hidden from casual observation, it would serve as humanity's forward defense position. When they come back looking for Earth, Wright said, we'll hit them from the moon first. Meanwhile, the recovered alien communications revealed more about the Concordium. They weren't a peaceful federation as they had claimed. They were conquerors who had subjugated dozens of species across hundreds of worlds. They see us as primitives, Wright told the Council. That's their weakness. They don't respect us, so they don't truly fear us. 76 days after the first battle, Earth's early warning systems detected the Concordium's return. This time, they brought 12 ships, twice the previous number. But Earth was ready. The lunar base activated its gravity weapons, pulling 2 alien ships off course and smashing them together. The Concordium hadn't expected attacks from the moon. Their formation broke as they tried to reorient. Earth's fighters launched, now equipped with shields based on Collins' research. For the first time, human pilots could survive direct hits from alien weapons. Porter's gravity disruptors disabled the propulsion systems on 3 more Concordium vessels. The battle raged for 6 hours. When it ended, 7 alien ships had been destroyed or captured. The remaining 5 retreated, but not before broadcasting a final message. You cannot win this war. We are endless. Admiral Wright stood in the control room of Olympus Base, watching the alien ships flee. No, she said quietly. You're just used to everyone giving up. In the captured ships, human engineers found star maps, communication protocols, and something unexpected: distress calls from other conquered worlds. Worlds where resistance still smoldered. We're not alone in this fight, Wright realized. There are others out there who want freedom. As Earth's scientists studied the alien drives, a plan began to form. Humanity wouldn't just defend their world. They would take the fight to the stars. The Defiance Protocol had begun. The captured alien ships provided Earth with priceless gifts, working faster than light engines, and the coordinates of Concordium territories. With this knowledge, humanity took its boldest step yet. They would build their own space fleet. Project Titan began in secret facilities across the globe. Engineers and scientists worked tirelessly to adapt alien technology to human designs. The result was unlike anything Earth had produced before. The flagship, christened Defiance, stretched nearly half a mile long. Its hull incorporated both human and alien materials, creating a hybrid that displayed unexpected advantages. Captain Daniel Foster, a veteran of the lunar defense battle, was chosen as its commander. "She's not pretty," Foster said as he toured the completed vessel, "but she'll fight like hell." 5 smaller ships completed Earth's first battle fleet. They couldn't match Concordium numbers, but Admiral Wright had a different strategy in mind. These ships weren't built for traditional warfare. They were designed for something the aliens wouldn't expect: a direct counterattack. "The Concordium believes we're trapped on Earth," Wright explained during the final briefing. "They don't know we can reach their territory now. This mission isn't about winning a battle. It's about showing them we can hit back." The fleet departed from the dark side of the moon, using the gravity drive technology reverse-engineered by Porter's team. Their destination was a small Concordium outpost near Alpha Centauri, close enough to reach quickly but far enough to send a message. The journey took 12 days. When they arrived, the human fleet found an unprepared installation. The Concordium had never considered that a primitive species could reach them so quickly. "All ships, commence attack," Foster ordered. "Remember the plan: disable, don't destroy. We need their data." The battle was brief and one-sided. Without reinforcements, the outpost couldn't withstand Earth's surprise assault. Within 3 hours, human Marines boarded the station and secured it with minimal casualties on either side. What they found inside changed everything. The station's archives contained detailed records of Concordium conquests, 47 species across hundreds of worlds, all subjugated over thousands of years. Some races had been enslaved for so long they'd forgotten their own histories. More importantly, they discovered communications from other conquered worlds. Not all had submitted completely. Resistance movements existed throughout Concordium space, fighting losing battles against their oppressors. "Send a message to all these coordinates," Foster ordered his communications officer. "Tell them Earth stands with them. Tell them resistance isn't futile anymore." Before departing, Foster left the surviving Concordium personnel with a message for their leaders. "Earth is coming." The fleet returned home with valuable prisoners, technology, and most importantly, hope. For the first time, humanity knew they weren't fighting alone. Within weeks, responses from across the stars began arriving. Most were cautious, disbelieving. How could a new species challenge the Concordium so boldly? But a few saw opportunity in human audacity. The Kilari, reptilian beings who had fought the Concordium for centuries, were the first to send representatives through secret channels. They brought their own technology and tactical knowledge of Concordium weaknesses. "Your species fights with unexpected ferocity," the Kilari ambassador told Admiral Wright. "Stories of Earth's resistance spread through hidden networks. You've become a symbol." Reports from Concordium space confirmed this. Human tactics, unpredictable, adaptable, and often seemingly irrational, confused Concordium military doctrine. Their leadership had classified humanity as an extinction-level threat, the highest danger category in their records. As Earth prepared for the next phase, engineers integrated Kilari technology with their own designs. New ships took shape in orbit, now built with the combined knowledge of 2 resistant species. The Titan Initiative had succeeded beyond all hopes. Humanity wasn't just defending Earth anymore. They were taking the fight to the stars and building alliances that would change the galaxy forever. The news of Earth's successful counterattack spread through hidden channels across Concordium space. Species long beaten into submission began to whisper about the humans. These newcomers had done the impossible. They had struck back against their oppressors and survived. Resistance cells that had been dormant for generations suddenly found new purpose. If humans could fight, perhaps they could too. The Kilari were just the beginning. Soon, representatives from a dozen subjugated worlds made secret contact with Earth. Lieutenant Samantha Kelly hadn't expected to become a teacher of revolution. As one of Earth's top special forces operators, she was chosen to lead the first human military advisory team to alien resistance fighters. "They have the will to fight," Kelly reported after her first mission to the Novan homeworld. They just need to be shown how. Kelly's team trained rebels in guerrilla tactics across 3 star systems. The concept of asymmetric warfare was surprisingly unfamiliar to most alien species. The Concordium had always relied on overwhelming force, crushing their enemies with superior numbers and technology. But humans had been fighting against the odds for their entire history. Earth's military history became required reading for resistance fighters. Don't try to match their strength. Kelly instructed a group of insectoid Vesperi rebels. Hit them where they're weak, then disappear before they can respond. Force them to chase shadows. The Concordium's rigid military doctrine made them vulnerable to these tactics. Their commanders struggled to adapt to an enemy that refused to fight according to established rules. Back on Earth, the Defense Alliance analyzed every skirmish, learning the Concordium's weaknesses. Their ships were powerful but predictable. Their commanders followed protocols without deviation. They relied on strength rather than creativity. They've been the strongest for so long, they've forgotten how to be clever, Admiral Wright noted during a strategy session. The Battle of Proxima Centauri became the turning point. The Concordium had established a major supply depot there, supporting their planned assault on Earth. 3 resistance groups, led by Kelly's advisory team, launched a coordinated attack using ships provided by Earth. The battle should have been one-sided. The Concordium forces outnumbered the resistance fleet 5-1. But the rebels didn't fight like the Concordium expected. They targeted supply vessels instead of warships. They used asteroid fields to set ambushes. They sacrificed tactical positions to gain strategic advantages. When the battle ended, the Concordium had lost 23 ships in control of the entire supply base. The resistance lost 7 vessels, but captured enough supplies to equip rebellions across 3 sectors. This wasn't just a tactical victory, Kelly reported. It was a psychological one. Species that have been oppressed for centuries saw the Concordium bleed. The ripple effects were immediate. Uprisings erupted on dozens of worlds. The Concordium, for the first time in millennia, found itself fighting on multiple fronts. Their resources, while vast, were suddenly stretched thin. Their leadership council issued new directives about humanity. Humans were classified as a first-priority extinction target. All other objectives became secondary to eliminating the Earth threat. They're afraid, Wright told Earth's Defense Council. Not just of us, but of what we represent. Hope is spreading faster than they can contain it. Intelligence reports from resistance networks revealed the Concordium was gathering its largest fleet ever, 300 ships preparing to assault Earth. They would no longer underestimate humanity. They would bring enough force to obliterate the planet entirely. Earth had perhaps 2 months before the Armada arrived. The planet's defenses had improved dramatically, but they couldn't withstand such overwhelming numbers. We can't win this fight defensively, Wright stated plainly. So we won't fight it that way. As the Concordium gathered their forces, humanity and their new allies prepared for their boldest move yet. They wouldn't wait for the enemy to come to them. For the first time in Concordium history, their prey would become the hunter. Dr. William Carter hadn't slept properly in 3 weeks. The physicist worked in his lab beneath the Rocky Mountains, surrounded by equipment salvaged from Concordium vessels. His team had been studying the alien communication systems, searching for an advantage. It's not just faster than light, Carter explained to Admiral Wright during her inspection. Their quantum communication is instantaneous across any distance. No delay at all. Earth's scientists had been struggling to replicate the technology. The principles were understood, but implementation remained elusive. Then Carter had his breakthrough. "We've been trying to copy their approach exactly," he said, showing Wright his new design. "But their system is built for their needs, secure, stable, and traceable. I've designed ours to be the opposite." Carter's new quantum network was messy by Concordium standards, but it worked. More importantly, it was invisible to their detection systems and couldn't be monitored. For the first time, Earth could coordinate with resistance forces across the galaxy without the Concordium intercepting their communications. "This changes everything," Wright said, examining the prototype. "How quickly can we deploy it?" Within 2 weeks, Earth had established secure communication links with resistance cells on 17 worlds. Intelligence flowed freely, creating the most comprehensive picture of Concordium operations ever assembled. The data revealed something unexpected: the location of the Concordium homeworld. Never before had any species discovered this closely guarded secret. Captain Lisa Rodriguez led the special operations team assigned to gather more intelligence. Her ship, disguised with captured Concordium identification codes, slipped through enemy territory undetected. "We need to understand their supply chains," Rodriguez told her team as they approached Concordium space. "Every empire has a logistics network. Disrupt that, and their military advantage crumbles." Rodriguez's team infiltrated 3 major Concordium installations. They placed surveillance devices, gathered critical intelligence, and departed without raising alarms. The information they brought back was invaluable. The Concordium war effort depended on resources from dozens of mining worlds. Their ships required rare materials that only came from specific systems. Their fuel processing happened at just 6 locations throughout their territory. "They've never needed to protect their supply chain before," Rodriguez reported. "No one has ever threatened it." Earth now had a strategy. While the Concordium gathered their invasion fleet, human and allied forces launched coordinated strikes against critical supply installations across enemy territory. Refineries exploded. Shipyards went dark. Transport vessels disappeared. The Concordium scrambled to respond, but the attacks came from too many directions at once. "Their tactical flexibility is limited," Rodriguez noted after reviewing battle reports. "They keep responding with overwhelming force, but we're gone before they arrive." The Concordium had never faced an enemy that adapted so quickly. Human battlefield innovations spread through resistance networks, constantly evolving. Tactics that worked in one battle were replaced before the Concordium could develop countermeasures. "It's not our technology that confuses them," Carter observed. "It's our unpredictability." As Earth's alliance grew, more species contributed their knowledge. The Kilari provided biological insights into Concordium physiology. The Vesperi shared details about Concordium sensor limitations. Each new ally brought another piece of the puzzle. The Concordium invasion timetable began to slip. Their massive armada, meant to destroy Earth, remained in orbit around their core worlds, protecting vital infrastructure instead of attacking. For the first time in recorded history, the mighty Concordium found itself on the defensive. In a secure bunker beneath Geneva, Admiral Wright studied the galaxy map, now filled with Allied positions and Concordium vulnerabilities. The next phase would be the most daring yet. "It's time," she told the Defense Council, "to take this war to their doorstep." The combined fleet of Earth and its allies gathered at the edge of Concordium space. 117 ships from 23 formerly subjugated species formed the largest free force the galaxy had seen in millennia. At their center flew the Earth flagship Defiance, now twice its original size after upgrades and modifications. Admiral Jack Hudson had taken personal command of the mission. As the architect of Earth's defense strategy, he understood what was at stake. This wasn't just a military operation. It was a message to the galaxy. "We're not here to conquer," Hudson told the assembled fleet commanders. "We're here to end conquest itself." The plan was audacious. Intelligence gathered by Captain Rodriguez's teams had identified the Concordium leadership world, a massive artificial ring structure orbiting a red giant star. Never in their long history had enemies breached their home system's defenses. "They believe their location is still secret," Hudson explained. "That gives us one chance at surprise." The fleet jumped into Concordium home space in perfect formation. 300 defense satellites activated immediately, but Earth's ships were ready. Quantum shields deflected the initial barrage, while specialized EMP weapons disabled the automated defenses. Before the Concordium fleet could organize a response, Earth ships surrounded the central ring where the ruling council resided. "Open a channel to all Concordium worlds," Hudson ordered. "Make sure every species in their territory can hear this." The message that followed would be remembered for generations. It became known simply as the warning, broadcast simultaneously to every world under Concordium control. "This is Admiral Jack Hudson of Earth. Your council claimed we could not resist. They were wrong. Your fleet said we would surrender. They were wrong. Your history taught that you cannot be defeated. That too was wrong." Hudson paused, letting his words sink in across thousands of worlds. "We could destroy your leadership right now. We could shatter your empire today. But unlike you, we don't seek domination. We want something different. Freedom for all species to determine their own future." The Concordium Council, facing the unthinkable, responded with desperate threats. Their remaining fleets were ordered to converge on their homeworld, abandoning occupied territories. "You have one standard day to release all subjugated worlds from your control," Hudson continued. "Accept their independence and withdraw your forces from their systems. Failure to comply will demonstrate that you cannot coexist with free species." For 18 hours, nothing happened. Then the Concordium response arrived, not surrender, but division. Some council members favored accepting human terms. Others insisted on fighting to the end. The empire that had stood unified for thousands of years began to fracture. When the deadline passed, several Concordium factions had already accepted Earth's terms, but the military hardliners refused, launching a desperate attack against the Earth fleet. The battle that followed was brief but devastating. Earth's forces had held back their most powerful weapons until this moment. When the hardliners attacked, they faced technology the Concordium had never encountered before. Concordium shields failed against targeted quantum disruptors. Their engines stalled when gravity wells suddenly appeared in their flight paths. Their communications collapsed under precision electronic warfare. As the battle turned decisively against them, Hudson ordered a final demonstration. A single Earth ship targeted an uninhabited moon orbiting the Concordium homeworld. The weapon that fired left no explosion, no dramatic flare, just absolute silence as the entire moon simply ceased to exist, reduced to its component atoms. "This weapon could be aimed at your council ring," Hudson transmitted to the remaining Concordium forces. "It could be aimed at any world. We choose not to use it that way. Remember that choice." The remaining Concordium ships powered down their weapons. Across the galaxy, occupied worlds reported Concordium forces withdrawing from their systems. The war that had seemed impossible to win just months earlier ended not with Earth's destruction, but with humanity dictating terms to the galaxy's oldest empire. The age of Concordium had ended. What would replace it remained to be seen. The galaxy held its breath in the months following the Concordium's fall. Thousands of worlds that had known only oppression for centuries suddenly found themselves free. Chaos threatened as ancient rivalries resurfaced and power vacuums formed across formerly occupied territories. Earth's leaders recognized the danger. Freedom without stability would lead to suffering and conflict that could dwarf even Concordium rule. They called for a gathering of all liberated species to forge a new path forward. Representatives from over 200 worlds converged on neutral space to discuss the future. The meeting lasted 6 weeks and tested the limits of interspecies diplomacy. Old enemies sat beside each other. Species with vastly different biologies and values struggled to find common ground. Ambassador Eric Miller led Earth's delegation. A seasoned diplomat with a gift for finding compromise, Miller worked tirelessly to bridge the gaps between different species' perspectives. "We didn't fight to replace one empire with another," Miller reminded the assembly when tensions rose. "But neither can we allow the galaxy to descend into warfare. We need structure without domination." From these difficult negotiations, the Galactic Coalition of Free Worlds emerged. Unlike the Concordium's forced unity, the coalition operated on principles of mutual defense and voluntary cooperation. Each species maintained sovereignty over their own worlds while contributing to shared security. Earth took a unique position in this new order. Though humans had led the liberation, they declined leadership of the coalition. Instead, they proposed a rotating council where all species would eventually share governance. Our role isn't to rule, Miller explained when questioned about this decision. It's to protect. What emerged became known as the Hudson Doctrine, named after the admiral whose warning had ended Concordium rule. Its principles were simple. Any species was free to develop according to their own values, so long as they did not forcibly impose those values on others. Those who attempted conquest would face Earth's intervention. The doctrine transformed humanity's image across the stars. Earth ships began patrolling trade routes, keeping them open for all peaceful species. Human advisors helped newly freed worlds establish their own defense forces. Earth's universities opened to students from across the galaxy. As the years passed, a peculiar phenomenon emerged. Species that had once feared humanity now regarded them with a complex mixture of respect and wariness. Humans were seen as protectors, but dangerous ones, unpredictable in their methods but unwavering in their principles. They're not like other species, a Kilari elder explained to young hatchlings. They fight with incredible ferocity, but can show surprising mercy. They create beautiful art and terrible weapons with equal passion. They are the galaxy's most determined defenders and its most frightening warriors. Earth itself transformed as well. Human colonies spread to dozens of worlds, each developing their own unique cultures while maintaining ties to their homeworld. Knowledge from hundreds of alien civilizations accelerated human development in medicine, technology, and the arts. 10 years after the fall of the Concordium, Admiral Hudson, now retired, stood on the observation deck of Olympus Base. The lunar facility had grown from a military outpost into a diplomatic hub where representatives from across the galaxy came to study, trade, and negotiate. Below him, Earth glowed blue and green against the blackness of space. Above, the stars no longer represented unknown threats, but the homes of allies and friends. "We never imagined this outcome when we first detected their signals," said Olivia Grant, now director of Earth's Sinology Institute, as she joined him at the viewport. Hudson smiled. "No one did. Not us, not the Concordium, not any species in the galaxy." He gestured toward the stars. "They all thought resistance was futile." "And now?" Grant asked. "Now the galaxy understands a fundamental truth about humanity," Hudson replied. "We don't accept impossible odds. We overcome them." Across thousands of worlds, species that had once lived under Concordium rule now told their children a common story of how peace came not through submission, but through resistance, and how the most feared warriors in the galaxy had become its most dedicated guardians. The universe had learned its lesson. Threatening humanity was futile. I notice you're asking for part 8, but the story outline I created only had 7 parts, which I've now completed. Would you like me to create an additional part that extends beyond the original outline? I could write about events taking place many years later, perhaps focusing on new challenges facing the Galactic Coalition, or I could explore how humanity continues to evolve in its role as galactic protector. Let me know if you'd like me to proceed with an 8th part, and if you have any specific direction you'd prefer for it to take.